The last time she was with me in Berlin was when was it? It was 3 weeks ago, I think. Hang on, I'm gonna look at the calendar here. Fuck, man, time does not make any sense anymore. So I guess it's been. Has it been 3 weeks or 4 weeks? It feels like simultaneously like a long time, and not a long time at the same time. Because I've said to her before that though we obviously aren't seeing each other all the time, the presence is still felt. There's a way that you carry the little idiosyncrasies of a person around with you, like certain things that they'd say and certain things that they do. Um, they just kind of float around in your head, and sometimes it could just be words, or um, it can be a cadence in their speech or whatever. I find that those things just kind of pop up out of nowhere a lot of the time. Um, so obviously my head, a lot of my thoughts are made up of these kinds of things with a lot of people I know, but obviously like a very large fraction of those little shards of people that my brain is made up from and that my thoughts are dressed up in, is Julia. Time that has passed in terms of physicality, but in terms of spiritually, no, there hasn't been much time passed at all. Um, how did it feel to say goodbye? Uh, I don't actually remember. I don't know if you're familiar with the term Irish goodbye, which is it's basically when you're at a party and you're too drunk and you don't want to say goodbye to everybody because either you're too drunk or you're just not bothered and you just leave the party silently without saying anything. Um, and I think part of that is just down to uh, an Irish sensibility of not wanting to make a fuss, either wanting to make a fuss out of a situation or wanting to make a fuss out of yourself. And I think I think goodbyes are just inherently difficult, and making a fuss out of them is just going to make them more difficult. So that is one of the few things that I afford to myself uh, to not deal with. I remember a few years ago talking to somebody about, like, they were like, well, if you're so bad at relationships, what is your ideal relationship? And I was saying that somebody where we loved each other a lot, but we didn't necessarily need to be together all the time. Like, we could live in different countries, and we'd probably both be doing our own thing very much. But when we did get to see each other, it wouldn't matter. Uh, so that was my idea of what would be perfect for me a few years ago, and um, that is kind of where I'm at now with Julia, which is really nice. So yeah, I think maybe the benefits aren't necessarily for everybody. I think some people find that kind of thing really hard, but I it suits me, um, for sure. I mean, I wish there was something that I haven't already said to her. But there kind of isn't. It's kind of gross how clearly we communicate. So I guess the only thing I have to say to her is that she's a fucking idiot, and I hate her. But I don't at all. I love her. That's all she needs to know, I think. It's probably the most important thing. Or is it the most important thing? Maybe not. That she's my very dearest friend, and I'm very glad that she's in my life, even if most of the time we are not in the same space. We are in each other's lives. I think that's everything.